Good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Caterpillar Mining webinar series. My name is Attila Vecchini, based in Tucson, Arizona. I'm the global marketing lead for large motor graders and large wheel loaders. And we're excited to bring you today's topic, Mastering Haul Roads, Choosing the Right Motor Grader. And with me on the call are Florian Dumal from Geneva, Switzerland, large motor grader, global market manager, Cristiano Rodriguez from Belo Horizonte, Brazil, large motor grader, America's market and product application specialist, and Eric Gray from Decatur, Illinois, large motor grader, senior product service engineer. You may find out more information about them in the presenter bio section, as well as check out the resources we have, important documents and links that we have in the resources section. Now, before we get started, just a word about Caterpillar's #1 value, safety. Be safe, be present, champion the power of everyone, win the right way, be cyber safe. And these are values that we live by not just in the workplace during working hours, but also during the rest of the day as well. Now, please note that this event is being recorded and will be made available for viewing in the future. Now, I realize that there might be dealers, customers, and competitors attending today or watching the recording later, and so we just want to make sure that we don't share any competitive information that's sensitive. Basically, we won't be talking about topics that are on the right hand of the slide. Pricing, discounts, terms, and the like. Now, let me ask you a quick question. If you could just take this poll and just answer the question, what is your familiarity with Cat large motor graders? Are you brand new, somewhat familiar, very familiar, or are you a fan? Just go ahead and select your choice. And while you're doing that, I want to mention that if you have any questions during the webinar, go ahead and use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Just type in your questions. Now, if you're an existing customer and you need specific information, just go ahead and contact your dealer. And also, if we get too many questions and don't get to your questions that you type in, don't worry, we'll follow up with you via email. Now, let's see the results. Okay, all right, we've got a few new, somewhat familiar, and very familiar with Cat large motor graders. All right, now with that, I will turn it over to Florian Dumal, large motor grader, global market manager. Florian?
Thank you, Attila. Buenos dias. Hello, good morning. Bon dia. Selamat sore. Salam alaikum. We have a very international crowd today with us, and this is absolutely great. Apologize for the language that I did not mention. Unfortunately, we don't know all the language, but Attila said that you can submit your question. So we'll be very happy that you submit your question in Spanish, Portuguese, French, or English, of course, if you feel more comfortable. English is, of course, the language we're going to use today. But if you prefer putting your question in French, Spanish, or Portuguese, we will be happy to do that. Unfortunately, the other language are not masterized by our team today, but nevertheless, I'm sure you're going to do fine in English. So thank you very much to be here with us. I'm a bit disappointed that we had no motor grader fan with us today, but at least we had a very knowledgeable crowd, so this is great. We're going to focus on a few topics. Obviously, we're going to talk about our motor grader lineup, Caterpillar motor grader lineup, but we're going to focus more on mastering all roads and how to select the right motor graders and a differentiator technology and key features. As you all know, the most important aspect for a miner is increasing their production and decreasing their cost. And that's why we are going to use motor graders. And that's why Caterpillar is offering a very wide range of graders. Cristiano will go through the differentiator technology and key features, while Eric Gray will talk about some of the new products introduction update that we do today, the high performance circle for the 24 HPC and the 28-foot moldboard, 8.5 meters wide moldboard, the biggest one in the world right now. So Eric will go through that. Before we go into the details, we would like to warm all us up with a little video of introduction. So I'm going to launch that and get back to you very shortly. All right, so it's all about the right grader for the right hole and how we have developed throughout the years a different range of motor graders. Experience and knowledge about products that you do is very important. We spent 60 years that we are working with our customers, listening to their constraint, to their challenge, to their needs, and we have developed our graders based on all those information that we are getting there through all out the years. We have 5 generations of 16, we have 2 generations of 18, we have 3 generations of 24. If we have developed different size of machine, it's because our customer were needing more power, more weight to accommodate on their old road, which were getting bigger and bigger because of the truck size. I mean, in 63, we probably have the biggest truck is probably 100 tons. Nowadays, it's 400 tons. So it changed big time the game. And that's why we developed different size graders. So the 24H has nothing to do with the 24 that we have today. Even the 24M is a smaller machine than the 24. And it's going to be the same on the 16 throughout the years has grown as well. We have 260 million hours of operation to fix the quality, to fix to improve the features, to improve the machine and the durability of a machine. We know how important it is. Some of our machine has more than 120,000 hours of operation. So this is just to tell you why we build. We know the mining industry is a tough industry. It's challenging. Application can be very rough. Some places or underfoot condition can be very rough, and you need tough machine to accommodate also the operator based. You know, it's not always easy to train and support operator to have a good trained operator on the mine site. So they need machine can really do the job. To express that, we just celebrate 1,000 delivery machine indicators this year. Very proud of this accomplishment. It's been now almost 30 years that we're building 24. It's a huge machine, and the Decatur team has done a celebration with a customer testimony. We were very proud of that this year. So very happy to launch a 1,000 machine, which has reached Australia for this one. But of course, we have machine operating for the highest level, 4,500 meters, 15,000 feet, to, of course, sea level. But also, we are operating at the dry and warmer condition, or the coldest or wet condition. We are operating in any application and anywhere in the world throughout all the continents. So what is our product lineup? For quarry and mining specifically, we start with the 14 to the 24. So 14, which is 14 or 16 feet blade, 4.2 or 4.9 meters. Then we have the 18, which is 5.5 meters, the 16 with 4.9, the 18 with 5.5, and of course the 24, which is going up to the 28-foot moldboard, which is 8.5 or 7.9. So very big blade because of very big haul roads. When you have a 400-ton truck, you need a haul road which is almost 40 meters. So that's tell you how many paths you need if you have a blade which is too small. But the weight and the power is also critical. So we need to make sure we have the adequate power for the blade that you carry on. Otherwise, you won't be able to do a proper job. We also launching the 16GC only for some specific territories. So it's going to be open in Africa, Middle East, and APD. This machine is a more simpler machine with lever control. We don't have technology, but some customers are also requiring this type of application, especially contractors, which have a shorter term view. But of course, most of our customers, they need the technology, and they need the power and the weight that you can have on the 16, 18, and 24. Obviously, on mine site, you can also have smaller machine. A 160 all-wheel drive, can help you to build the whole road when you need extreme precision, or do some construction and supporting activity. Usually, on a mine site, you're going to look at 16 and up. Even that small mines which operate 775 or smaller trucks, less than 60, 70 tons trucks can operate the 14. But then we really recommend the 16 to the 24, depending on what trucks you have. Obviously, on a 100-ton truck, which is probably the most used throughout the world size trucks, we recommend the 16. After that, when you reach to 150, 180, 80 tons to 200 tons. The 18 would be most of the time the right match. And of course, above 180, 200 tons, we really recommend the 24. Again, it's all depending on a mine site. Every mine site is different. Every application is different, and every underfoot condition is different, and you will have a different type of answers. What I think it's very important, and Cristiano will go more into details in that, is how we can support you to better operate your motor graders. CPM, cross-slope, integrated technology will certainly support our miner friends to better operate the grader and to do a better job on the haul road. So, how are you mastering haul roads? Obviously, again, a motor grader, if you don't need it, you don't use it, right? It's a supporting equipment. However, if you don't have motor graders, if you don't use properly your motor graders, then the impact on your haul roads will be extremely severe. So, hauling costs, as you see on the right side, are 45% of your total cost, mine operating cost. If you had the loading, and of course the loading, the motor grader have less impact, but still on the load area, you have 15%. So the condition of your haul road throughout your mine site are extremely important. And often we see miners underestimating that. They focus everything on the trucks because the trucks give the production. But the trucks cannot give a proper production if you don't have a good haul road. And we will see that you're going to use, depending on the application, the maintenance, what you really need. Usually 80% of the time you use your motor grader for the maintenance and also the dump and load area maintenance. You're going to use it a little bit also for drainage or berms, safety berms creation, or clean up the blasting area or the drill bench leveling. But this takes a little bit less time. And what you're going to impact with our graders, you're going to impact your cost, you're going to impact your productivity, you're going to impact your safety. And of course, the goal is to produce more with less. So sometimes having one grader additional can help you to reduce your truck fleet by 3-4 trucks, depending on the condition, because you're going to get a better productivity, you're going to get a smoother all road and be more impactful. When you look at the price of the trucks and at the price of a grader, well, you probably better think about maybe I can use one more grader, and that can save me 1 or 2 trucks or 3 trucks, depending on the configuration of your all road. So why we have different size? Bigger the truck, bigger the effect is going to be on the all road, and stronger the solution needs to be. The truck are going to weight on your all road and giving compressive force, right? But then you're going to have acceleration, you're going to have brakes, you're going to have deviation, shifting. That's going to be the shearing force. And the impact force is also going to create little bump or little holes. All this activity throughout the day. And when a mine site work 20, 22, 24 hours, you have, of course, the brakes and the shift change. But, you're going to have a truck almost every 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on your all road going. And they are huge impact. And any contradiction on the all road will make the operator shifting gear or doing a brake to avoid an obstacle, whether it's rocks, whether it's a car, whether it's another truck, which have technical issues. A lot of things can happen, and all this will impact your all road. So obviously, with all this, you want to make sure you have the appropriate power and weight to really revamp your all road correctly. So this might make some of you laugh, but I can tell you, every single one of us have seen this happening on mine sites, and not only in remote place. I've seen that happening in a very unlikely place that I would have never expected these type of things to happen. So what you're going to see here, what you're going to do here, the impact on your structure, the impact on your tire, 10 to 20% costs are coming from the tires. We all know the cost of a tire. Imagine what you do to your tires here. Imagine what you do to your structure. Imagine what you do to some of the component, the suspension, the durability of your suspension. You're going to have a truck which is going to go to maintenance or repair a lot more often, which kind of reduces availability. You're going to have an impact on your rims. And what to say about your operator? Do you think an operator will stay long in that type of condition? Probably not. And I've seen mine sites asking the motor grader operator to step into a trucks to increase the truck's production by driving the trucks because there was a lack of operator. And the effect on the all road, because they didn't use any graders for 3-4 days, was terrible. The trucks were moving like that. You're going to lose more than 10% of your production, and you're going to increase your trucks, your cost by 35%. And what it's also doing is that having one operator on a grader making a better all road would have probably allowed this company to do more production with 6 trucks instead of 7 trucks, because they had a fleet of 20 trucks, but they were only able to use a very small amount because of operator lacking. Obviously, this is a rare situation, but we've been through 2 years of COVID, and most of you probably have experienced some operator shortage. Rolling resistance is also very important, especially in a wet condition, and we'll see also in a few slides how you can also better impact your all roads and reduce your rolling resistance throughout the better use of your graders. Selecting the right motor graders. So this is also important to have a right fleet. for your mine site. So obviously, we need to be careful when we show this slide. This is one scenario. Each mine site, again, has different type of scenario. But this is an example, a representative example of one scenario and what you're going to have, the differences in passes and what you would have as a motor graders. When you look at up to 80 tons truck, you can probably accommodate a 14. If you have extremely good underfoot condition, you can probably put 4.9 meters or 16 feet moldboards to your 14. But be careful, you're going to lack power. You're going to lack weight. So it's really because you just need to clean up on the surface and not do any tough grading. Then for the 16, 775, 777, the 16 will be your perfect match. It's going to be quite good. You're going to have 5 to 6 passes depending on your setup. And then when you go to bigger trucks and you see the upper line, this is the compression force, the dump pressures that you need to really well revamp your all roads, your surface, without having too much struggle or too much movement on your graders. And you see the 24 with 7.3 and 24 feet moldboard, or the 8.5, 28 feet moldboard. You see also the coverage that you're going to gain. What is interesting, however, also with those different sizes of blade is that you can play with the blade angle. So I was talking about muddy condition. Muddy condition, you're probably going to say, okay, I have my 18, but I need a more aggressive angle because I have so much mud and I want to get out a lot of mud. So you're going to use your 25 blade angle, get the same amount of pass in the 16, but you're going to carry a lot more mud out of your way. And it's going to be exactly the same impact on your 24, 28 moldboards on the 24. So this is also important. The 18 would give you more versatility because you can play with the blade angle. If you're afraid that your operators are going to be a bit too rough, or certain operator are going to be a little bit too rough, then you can also play with the angle, and you're going to get more power for and getting out more dirt with a very smooth operation. So you can always play with that. So typically, a lot of our market have completely switched from 16 to 18 when they had bigger trucks than 100 tons. And even some customers in 100 tons have switched to the 18 because it gives them a little bit more versatility. You get a little bit additional power, a little bit additional weight, which make your capacity a lot better. And you have a fuel efficiency, which is very, very similar. And again, the fuel efficiency on a grader is, on a mine site, the cost is not the most important. What you want to really have an impact on is a truck fuel efficiency. So spending a little bit more fuel on a grader to make a better job on your trucks, at the end of the day, can save a lot of fuel for your company. All right, so motor grader fleet is selection estimator. We have that available on cat.com. Unfortunately, we have to change the platform. So this tool might be suspended for a short amount of time. We don't know exactly the amount of time, but anyway, this tool can help you. It's open to anybody and can help you to select your right grader and also the number of graders that you need on a mine site. Because again, also you need the right fleet, right? If you have 18 but you don't have enough, then you're also going to get some bad result on your all road. So you want to have the right amount of graders. Disregard of what you choose, on the 24 or 28 foot moldboard, or on 24 foot moldboard, or choosing a 16 or 18, depending on your scenarios. And your dealer can always support you. We have very experienced dealers, and we are behind them. We also here available to support our dealer friends, which are doing a great job every day for you guys. So, differentiator and key features, I'm not going to talk too much. I just want to confirm what we said. Graders are extremely important to reduce your cost, increase your production, and choosing the right grader right size, right moldboard size, right power for your hull is extremely important. We offer more moldboard choice in the industry. Nobody offers that range of moldboard choice and power and weight match. We have the best power and weight match also of the industry. It's very important so you control your fuel efficiency and you have the right power for the right weight that you need to do a proper job on your road to impact, of course, your truck fleet cost ratio and productivity. We always highlight benchmark ourselves with the highest standard of the safety industry. Cristiano will talk more about that. We have the joystick on any of our machine excluded to the 16GC. We have the control crossrope. Cristiano will talk more about that. Auto articulation, auto shift transmission, compression brakes, technology ready, and the cap production measurements. And again, Cristiano will go a little bit more in deep with that. All right, with that said, I think I'm going to pass it over to Cristiano. And thank you very much. Again, please ask questions if you need. We will be more than happy to answer that at the end. Cristiano, all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Florian. Let me change the slide. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I am Cristiano. I am Product Application Specialist covering Americas region. And I hope you're enjoying our time today during this presentation. Don't hesitate to send us your question through the chat. So when we start talking about our products, we start talking about safety. And we have a lot of safety features. As an example, we can provide the fire suppression ready kit directly from our factories. So you can order it on new machines also. Probably you are already aware that slips, trips, and falls are one of the leading causes of workplace injuries while entering or exiting the cab. So we can offer you access platform to avoid this type of injuries. Another situation, if you are facing an emergency scenario, tip over situation, if you're working on a hill in a tip over situation, you can exit from both sides of the cab. This is another safety feature. And another one, a very helpful feature, these machines are really big, right? And the rear view cameras are standard, and we can also provide frontal cameras to increase your ability to see the machine surroundings. Okay, so now going deeper into mechanical features, we can highlight that our machines are equipped with individual brakes on each rear wheel with redundant brake circuits to increase your safety. Blades accumulators and circle drive slip clutch will allow you some blade movements, help you to keep your motor grader on track. And if by accident, if you hit something, some embedded rock on the soil, it will avoid damages also on your machine. And if you're driving an 80-ton machine like the 24 motor grader at 40 kilometers per hour, you don't want to use only your service brakes to stop it, right? We can provide a standard engine compression brake that will help you to save your service brakes and stop your machine safely. Another feature, hydraulic lockouts, provide safety while your machine is off or even under maintenance. Secondary steering pump. On the 24 motor graders, the secondary steering pump is attached to the transmission, right? So even if your engine is dead, the transmission will keep running, providing enough hydraulic flow to keep your ability to park your motor grader. On the smaller grades like the 16 and 18, we offer an electrical driven pump to provide this hydraulic flow to your steering to park your machine safely. Seatbelt indication and operator presence monitoring are standard features also. All machines with a very quiet cab, low sound, low vibration levels according to all international standards. The emergency engine shutoff is on a ground level for easy access. Of course, if you tip your machine, if you're in a hurry, you don't need to climb to ride on a cab to turn your machine off, just hit the button on the ground level. Talking about the steering, the joystick is a following type and speed sensitive. And last but not least, the tie-off points increase the safety for your maintenance team. So going to the next slide, let's talk about operation. Probably the motor grader is the hardest equipment to operate because there are so many functions and there are two different ways to grade a road. So imagine yourself operating a machine 8, 10, in some countries 12 hours per shift, handling more than 12 functions and some of them simultaneously. So at the end of the day, you will be very tired delivering your task with less quality and less productivity. The safety is also compromised due to your fatigue. So CAT developed the electro-hydraulic joysticks to reduce the operator movement by up to 78%. The joystick is very smooth, precise, predictable, and you can concentrate on what is important, right? The task and, of course, the safety. As an example, if you're driving slowly in a small movement on the joystick will turn the wheel faster. On the other hand, if you're running faster, 30, 40 kilometers per hour, the joystick will be less sensitive to avoid steep turns. Going to the next slide, CAT grade with cross slope. This is a very handy feature, and it is standard on the 16, 18, and 24 graders. And we can offer it directly from factory. Probably, I think this is one of the best features. This is the feature that I like most on a CAT motor grader. And actually, this is much more than a digital cross level, right? Basically, the cross slope will automate one side of the blade. You can choose which side do you want. And the other side will be controlled automatically, and one side will be controlled by the operator. So if the operator moves the joystick up or down, the automated side will follow up or down, maintaining the target blade, maintaining your target slope. You can set it on a machine panel, and as example, 3%. And of course, when you are building a road, you always want to build with cross slope to provide proper water drainage. So common values are something between 2 to 3%. This system uses embedded sensors on the machine, like a manifold sensor, a blade sensor, a circle sensor, and it will compare the machine slope with the current blade position, and it will adjust the blade automatically to target your slope. So if the road you're driving in changes suddenly, the blade will move automatically to reach your slope. So on the right side, let's imagine a situation where the site manager asks the operator to build a new road or to maintain the current road at 3% slope. But in fact, of course, the operator is not a perfect one, right? He's doing it with 2.5%, a small error of 0.5, right? But this 0.5%, the red area on the graphic, represents more than 16% of material that you are dumping with your truck, or 16% more material that you're cutting off of your road. So CAT grade with cross slope will help the operator to maintain or to build a new road in a correct shape, reducing the correct time, the required time to finish the task in more than 12%. It means that less fuel, less wear on your machine, and you'll be ready to do a different task faster. So I'd like to ask you, how do you evaluate your motor grader utilization? Probably you are not evaluating it, right? Because it's very hard to measure things on a motor grader, and it's very hard to find someone who's doing it. So here, let's see some real numbers about a mining grader utilization. In gray, you have the idle time. So this number is not so bad here, 17, 8, 11%. We expect something around between 8 to 15% of idling time. This is pretty normal, right? In blue, we have the traveling percentage, 43, 70, 63%. Terrible numbers, right? You don't want to travel your motor grader from point A to point Z in your mind, then go back to point B. So you're losing a good opportunity to use the blade. So in yellow, we can see the blade utilization. 40, 22, 26% of your time using the blade. In average, 30% of this time is the blade. So and when you understand your machine utilization is the first step to be more efficient, to be more productive and more profitable. So that's why we developed CPM. CPM stands for Caterpillar Production Measurement. Probably you're more familiar with it when we talk about excavators, when we talk about trucks. But now we have CPM for motor graders. CPM comes with application segmentation, and it is ideal for owners and fleet managers. So this feature gives you the ability to track what your motor grader is doing and where. Now you can track idling time, roading time, grading time, and reaping time percentages. It's possible to see it on a map, so it's very handy, it's very useful to know whether a road was graded or not. No additional sensors are needed here because all of them are already embedded on the machine. And CPM package comes also with the efficiency coach. The efficiency coach is a guide, and it will measure and tell the operator his efficiency related to the best gear to achieve smaller fuel consumption rates. As we can see on the image on the right side, the machine is telling to the operator, hey, Cristiano, you're running your motor grader in manual mode. You are in the second gear, but if you shift to the third gear, if you reduce a little bit your foot from the gas pedal, you will achieve the same speed, same productivity, but you will burn up to 15% less fuel. Of course, efficiency coach can be used to coach new operators, and you can track it online using our VisionLink platform. Right? If you have any questions, please write them on the chat, please. So now moving forward, CAT auto articulation. This is a very handy feature, and again, only CAT offer you this feature. Basically, auto articulation will automate the articulation of the machine while you're turning the front wheels. It means now that you don't have to twist your wrist all the time while doing a curve, right? Just hit the button on the cab. You can choose between off, forward only, or forward and reverse mode. Remember, usually every 300 meters, 400 meters, you are doing this turnaround procedure to grade the other side of the road. So it means hundreds of articulation and de-articulations during the day. And now auto articulation will reduce the operator fatigue, will increase his productivity, and will help him to maneuver in tight space during these turn procedures. So we can highlight also that it will protect your tires and transmission. As an example, it's not recommended to articulate your machine while you are stopped. Moving to the next feature, CAT compression brakes. We'll use the engine to reduce the machine speed. So when operating on slope, the compression brakes automatically absorbs the machine speed and uses it to compress and release air in the engine. So by this way, it will help the operator to optimize the engine RPM. Usually we recommend to keep the RPM around 800 to 1800 revolutions per minute, improving the life and parts and components, especially on the service brakes. And it is standard on 16, 18, and 24 models. So if you have any questions, please write it on the chat. Now we have Eric Gray talking about two more features for a 24 motor grader class size. Welcome, Eric. Good morning.
Thank you, Cristiano, for that. For everyone that's still on the webcast with us, my name is Eric Gray. I'll be covering our high-performance circle and our 28-foot moldboard. The high-performance circle, which a lot of times will just be referred to as the HPC, is a new offering from Caterpillar. It's available for first fit from the factory on new 24 motor graders, and in January it'll be available to be purchased as a complete retrofit kit for 24Ms and new 24s. The HPC, the goal of it is to deliver 80% reduction in maintenance costs and over 80% reduction in downtime. To go along with HPC, we have a 28-foot moldboard, and the 28-foot moldboard, can be used on your new 24 graders. It can be purchased directly from the factory or bought through parts to be put onto a machine that's already in service. 28-foot moldboard can improve your machine's efficiency by giving you wider pass or quicker movement of material, and it couples very well with our HPC drawbar. So getting into the HPC drawbar, we talked about improvements to downtime, cost, and availability. That's when you compare it back to our standard drawbar, or what we call our shim drawbar. So this system on the current drawbar has several components on it that are designed to be, changed out or adjusted due to wear. So you have circle segment teeth, you got circle shims, circle shoe shims adjustments, and you have inside the gearbox, you have a worm gear that has a brass ring gear that's also made to wear and then replaced at regular intervals. So between these planned preventive maintenance tasks and the in-between adjustments to keep everything tight, you're looking at over 100 hours a year in downtime to keep a circle properly adjusted, properly maintained, and operating. And if you don't do those tasks very well, then that downtime can actually increase quite a bit, because as things wear and drive loads to other places, then things break. Then you have unplanned downtime, waiting on parts, and that 100 hours of downtime can increase significantly. Within this same system, some of the maintenance tasks also require a technician to be underneath the machine, working overhead, working in awkward positions, or using large clamps to fasten large systems together so that you can do the maintenance tasks. So it does put a technician in an area with heavy parts, big parts, things they have to work on. So we can also improve the safety as well by eliminating a lot of this type of work. So moving forward, what we came up with is our new high performance circle. The main features of this system is a bearing, a long life bearing that sits in place of all the shims and brass, and then two heavy duty planetary gearboxes replace the worm drive gearboxes. So these planetary gearboxes have no wear components, and the bearing itself has no wear components, and there is no maintenance task on a regular basis. There is no shimming, there's no adjustments. Anything has to happen. This machine will go out and run 16,000 hours, and the only thing you have to do is put oil in the gearboxes at every 4,000 hours. So your annual downtime now is maybe 15 hours, of total time just doing oil changes and checking bearing play and doing general inspection. So a significant reduction, keeps the machines in the dirt. It's coming standard when you get a new machine with an HPC drawbar, you'll get our long life brass for the blades. This brass is also available for purchase for any 24 size machine or 16, 18 as well. It offers 3 times the life of the conventional brass wear strips that we currently offer. So like I said, on the HPC drawbar you're getting from the factory, these will come standard, and you can buy them through the part system for all your other motor graders as well. To couple with the HPC drawbar, we also have our 28-foot moldboard, 8.5 meter option available for the graders. This moldboard can offer efficiency improvements for the machine by offering a wider pass. So on a big haul road, you can reduce your passes by 1, sometimes 2 passes compared to your other machines on site. The other option is if you have to move a very large amount of material, you can run the same pass width as a 24-foot blade, but run a more aggressive blade angle, and that material will flow off and keep that heavy bulk. If you're doing real heavy blading, keep it running off the blade so it doesn't build up and come over the top of your blade. The 28-foot blade also helps your operators because by being wider, it helps their visibility to see the edges of the blade, especially if you have cab platforms on your machines, which many more machines are being required to have these access platforms on the machine. So the extra 4 foot of blade allows you to see your heel and your toe much easier, which then just makes your blading operation that much easier to do as well. So you're not having to move your head around as much to try to find the blade, helps your operator fatigue and everything on top of that. So they're both pretty new. The HPC is brand new. The 28-foot blade's been out for a while, but not a lot of them out there in the world yet, but that's going to grow. And so, like I said, they do couple very well together. So if you have any questions on any one of these features, please talk to your local dealer, and they can help you get into the right equipment for the right job. With that, if there's any questions, I'll turn it over to Attila.
All right. Thank you, Eric. And yes, please keep the questions coming. If you have any questions, type them into the Q&A function at the bottom of your webinar. And let me get to the first question is, how does the wheel withstand the impact loads?
So I guess, Attila, on that one, so I don't know if they're talking about the actual rubber tire or if they're talking about the rim itself, but the rubber tire, the sidewall, has a little bit of a spring ability into it to absorb impacts, and some of that, your suspension system also helps absorb some of that energy of large impacts into your wheel, rim, and tire system. But still, if you do it enough over time, you get into a fatigue situation where that tire is going to wear out. And if there's a large immovable object in that hole, if you hit it hard enough, then you could theoretically blow your tire off the bead or damage the edge of your rim or the bead, which then you're replacing both a tire and a rim. So inherently, though, the suspension system coupled with the strength of the rim and the dynamics of the sidewall of the tire do give you quite a bit of absorption capability for large impacts.
All right, thank you. And thank you for the feedback. Somebody said 100%. And we also do have a fan, even though he couldn't get to the poll on time at the beginning of the presentation. All right, another question. How do you train operators? Florian, would that be you? Cristiano, how do you train operators?
Yeah, Cristiano is working on it, so I'll let Cristiano answer that.
We have the ETS team, Equipment Training Solutions. So on a needed basis, we can send our instructors to your site. And also, during the year, we can provide different sessions for operators to train. And also, when we sell a new machine, the dealer can provide you this training because there are many high-skilled trainers on the dealer. So during the machining delivery, they can teach you on how to use some features, how to do the daily check procedures. So we have two ways to train your operator, through the dealer and through Caterpillar.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, does the 24M support automatic blade machine control system? Cristiano?
Eric?
Or Eric? Eric, does the 24M support automatic blade machine control system?
So it does support some aftermarket systems similar to the small machines working through our grade control and ECMs and blade control systems. We don't see a lot of 24s running those systems to date, just because of the type of sites and operations and the precision that they require at the mine sites usually isn't quite as the same as a construction site. So the standard CAT crossload system usually provides enough, tolerances to cover mine roads if they use it. So there's capability there. The ECMs, the valves, all that stuff works in a similar manner as your small machines. It's just not something we see. I guess I haven't actually personally ever seen one actually all rigged up with all the fancy controls and blade systems like the smaller machines might have.
All right, thank you. Next question. can we install longer blades on any model, or are there standard length for each model?
Let me get that one. Obviously, if we develop different size machine, it's because we match the right blade. But as you see during the presentation, we offer 24 and 28 foot moldboard for the 24. We offer 14 foot moldboard and 16 foot moldboard for the 14. So I guess you can play a little bit on the machine that we proposed, where you have this option. It's all linked to your operation, to your application. So generally speaking, we would strongly recommend that you use the blades that there is optional, and that you seek assistance of your dealer. Depending on your mine sites, there might be some different choice that you need to do. But obviously, some of a machine offer different size blade that you can put. Otherwise, generally speaking, we would recommend that you follow our guidance and not use a different blade on a machine that don't offer it.
Okay, thank you. And earlier we had a slide that mentioned the construction class 160 that has an all-wheel drive option. And the question is, do our CAT product specialists see a value for all-wheel drives in mining applications?
So obviously this is a debate that we can have. When we look at the wide range of our customers, few of them express the potential request of having all-wheel drive. In mining, we start to have pretty big machine. We see some of our customer putting chain, depending on where they stand with the snow or with the application they have. Right now, we will not pursue all-wheel drive development for bigger machine. However, it's still on the hook. So it will all depend if we see a multiplication of customers needing all-wheel drive because of their specific application. We might consider it, but generally speaking, very few is really asking this, because the big power and the weight that you have on those machines are strong enough to do a good job and to maintain good movement to your machine when you operate it.
Okay, all right. Now, the next question is, would the 28 foot moldboard drive higher maintenance costs on your machines? Would the 28 moldboard drive higher maintenance costs on your machines?
So,
Eric?
So the quick answer is no, and it shouldn't unless there's something else going on. So if my circle systems are properly set and maintained, my slip clutches are at the right settings, all that system is torque-based protection, so 28-foot blade doesn't put any more torque through the system because the slip clutches will slip, and you're safe there. Worrying about damage to tires and things like that, the extra length, all these machines have the ability to limit rotation angle. So you can limit the rotation angle so that when you're further articulated, there's no way you can get the blade into a tire. So we have safety features available to help stop any additional damage that having extra length could cause. Now, if they're not used and things like that, then that could happen. From a driveline standpoint, we did a lot of testing on these bigger blades during field follow. We understand the data and the loads that these blades put into our systems, and we know our system is more than capable of handling it from a driveline perspective. So the easy answer is no, it doesn't drive anything if everything's set and working like it's supposed to.
All right, thank you. The next one is, can I retrofit my 24H or my 24M with the new HPC?
You can retrofit a 24M. It's not recommended on an H because the new HPC does weigh more, and we did not validate what the extra weight will do to your 24H driveline durability. So we have validated that on an M and the new 24, but we are not going through that exercise on the 24H, so therefore it will not be recommended to be installed on a 24H.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the questions says, my operators like their lever machine. Is the joystick really better?
Cristiano, you want me to answer that, or you want to go for it?
Go ahead, Florian.
All right. Yeah. Well, clearly, I mean, I'm not a specialist in operating a grader, right? But I can tell you that it was way easier for me to operate a joystick machine than a lever machine. And this is just the feeling, the accuracy. And when also you look at an operator who's going to work on his grader for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours in certain area, it makes a huge difference. So it's so much easier and so much more pleasant to work with a joystick that clearly it's a clear advantage. Also, when you look at cross-slope, without a joystick, you cannot. We don't offer cross-slope on lever machine. It's extremely hard to do a precise job. You have so much. It's so much easier with a joystick that it make a big difference. And most of the operator, I had an interaction with an operator who said, "Oh yeah, I love the lever machine and everything," but he was working on joystick, and I said, "Well, if I put you on a lever machine during all day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, would you still love the lever machine?" And he tell me, "Oh no, I'll go for the joystick on regular operation. It's fun to do one day with a lever." So it reminds you some of the fundamental, but then if you need to operate every day, the joystick is way better. And we also have a lot of operators are telling us that our joystick are fairly easy to use. As I said, I'm a marketing guy. I'm not so much an operator, and I can say that I was able to do a proper job on a joystick while I was a catastrophe on the lever.
Okay, all right. Now, why would we choose an 18 over a 16?
Well, we mentioned that during the presentation, right? It's all the time really based on the application, on the truck size, on the all-road design of your mine. So again, a bigger truck has bigger compaction, needs a wider all-road. So in terms of coverage, of course, the 18 will do a way better job. Depending on the setup, you look at a 20% difference in terms of coverage with the 18-foot moldboard. So the 18 will really do a way better job. If you have mud, you can play with a blade angle and carry more load out of your way. Even that you have the same coverage then, but you still clean way more dirt. So you could have maybe only one passage per shift instead of 2 passages per shift. But again, it's really specific to a mine site. Generally speaking, all the customers who have switched from 16 to 18 on their mine sites, I never heard anybody said, "Well, it was better when I had my 16." They all like the 18 way better because they have more flexibility. They can put the degree angle better. They don't have a lot more fuel consumption. They do a more better coverage. They can often reduce the number of graders that they have, which make it easier with when you need, operator is a challenge. So obviously when you have 4 graders or 3 graders, well, you need 1 operator less. And when you have 3 shifts, well, it's 3 guys plus a replacement operator that you don't need. So it's really an advantage.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Florian, Cristiano, and Eric for the wonderful presentation. And thank you all for joining us. Please look up on the internet cat.com cat.com/LMG. That's large motor graders, cat.com/LMG for more information, or just simply Google cat large motor graders. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you on our next webinar. We will send out the reminders and publish it online when that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you. Have a nice day.